Hey everybody, Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Welcome back. Today we're going to take a closer look at the Thrill Seekers Ride Pack, the first DLC for Planet Coaster 2. I went ahead and built a small sandbox park specifically for this purpose. You'll notice that it has no theming whatsoever. I've just let folks into the park, but I went ahead and built places for them to sit, throw their trash away, get food, etc., etc. I still care about you guys, even if you're just gonna die when I delete this park. Alright, so this Thrill Seekers Ride Pack has a few coasters in it. We've got these two coasters right here. We've got these two water elements, and then we have some smaller flat ride elements. I've not put any theming or anything like that. I mean, obviously this is not the best look for a water coaster, but that's really just so you can get a better look at what these packs offer without any of the theming around it. That's really up to you to make it match your particular park. So this first park ride here, this is one of the Big M's rides. This is an Ultra Spin coaster. They've got it labeled as Rampant, but of course you can go in and change this to say anything you'd like, which you'll see that evidenced when I go over here and look at this ride that originally had a different name, and I changed it to Vomit Rocket Thunder. So you're welcome to change those just as you would any other ride in your park. I left this one as the default. So Rampant is best described as, well, I probably should have named this one Vomit Coaster, because as soon as I jump into the camera, you'll see why. My God, I don't know who rides these things. My wife really is the answer. But as you'll see when we go to the cinematic camera, you have the spinning of the car itself, as well as your normal looping and curve elements. Oh, God, that just makes me nauseous just looking at it. But this is how I can ride these things vicariously. Yeah, these people look way happier than I'd have been. Somehow they're saying that this only has a relatively low nausea rating. Having ridden one of these at Six Flags, I gotta disagree. This is one of those ones that made me very, very sick. I am prone to motion sickness in coasters, but this is a whole different level. But as you can see, it also introduces a lot of elements that you can use on your own coasters, as well as using some very familiar ones like S-curves and your loops and what do they call them, rattlesnakes and that sort of thing. So this is our first coaster called the Ultra Spin. On a more family-friendly ride here, let's go ahead and jump into this. I think it's about ready to launch. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can jump into the front here. What, nobody wants to ride this ride? I do need to get some theming here. Alright, let's get some folks onto the ride here. Oh, looks like it's going now. So we'll jump in. Come on. Why am I not on the first ride? Alright, folks are lining up. We'll be in this one in just a second. This is a more family-friendly coaster. And it has a number of elements that, again, you can introduce into your other rides. For example, this has some 90-degree non-inverted banking. It has some more slopes without banking. And it's a stand-up coaster. So as you can see here, your folks are kind of sitting, but they're also free-hanging for their feet. And there are some looping elements in this nice long curve with a steady drop, so that's bound to put a smile on anybody's face. Let's put this into testing mode since we don't have folks riding it, and I'm going to go ahead and jump in. You'll see what I mean. We're going to go ahead and speed up the long jump up to the top. That nice vertical drop, much like the accelerator from way back when, although not nearly as tall. This is more family friendly and a more smooth coaster. Not as many loop elements, not as many high drops. As you can see up here in the corner, the nausea is quite low. Fear is kind of in the middle. Excitement's pretty high. So this is one that should be, despite what's going on in my park, should be one that's fun for the whole family. This one doesn't even invert, but obviously you can add whatever elements you like. Go ahead and open that up. I do like that, that it auto hires your staff member, so I don't actually have to deal with that if I don't want to. As soon as you open a coaster, it goes ahead and does exactly that for you. So jumping over here to Tidal Boore, gotta love that name. This is another Big M ride. It is a splash coaster. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this one. This is more of a lazy ride. So this is where you're gonna wanna have your theming kind of really do the heavy lifting for you. We're gonna speed this up so we can get on to it. There's that big drop at the very end. But this is more of a Tiana's or similar ride, like you'd see, where it's more about the theming than it is really about the ride itself. It's more about these kind of quick punchy moments like this, where you've got a splashdown and then you use the rest of the ride, you know, usually inside a dark ride or something like that, to tell a story. So these people are very excited, or they're having a seizure. Either way, it's a pretty simple ride. It's meant to be very family friendly, and again, one that you'll probably put inside. I'm not sure why the nausea is so high. There really isn't any element that would make you nauseous on this. This is about as family friendly as it gets. I do like this element though. When you get to the top here, you have this. Actually, we'll jump into it and I'll show you. So this is kind of a new thing where it rotates around like that and then it goes up backwards. So maybe that's where they think the nausea would come in. I don't think this would actually cause you much nausea. There's your tongue twister for you. But this has elements of the kind of thing that you'd see on like Hagrid's ride at Universal, where you've got, you know, these elements that kind of turn you around. There are some drop elements on other coasters where you drop from one level to another. That's in the base game. So being able to combine those kind of things is pretty cool. All right, jumping over here, we have Wave Force, and this is another water ride. Again, you'd probably have some theming here, but there's some really cool elements in this that you just don't see in anything else. Let me go ahead and get us onto this coaster. It is ready to go. I should be able to jump in and get us moving pretty quick. Come on, folks. All right, we'll speed this up, see if we can get some folks onto the ride. Actually, since I just opened that up, I'm going to go ahead and let that sit there, and we'll come back to it in a minute. So for these, there's no theming whatsoever. I haven't added any theme at all. Obviously, this is very much kind of build it yourself, but this is a flat ride. We're going to jump into, hold on here, strike one. There we go. So this is just now starting. You've got kind of that pendulum arm, so you've got two sets of two. And this is another one where you're kind of free hanging your feet, which is always an exciting and fun ride for people that like these kind of rides. Let's go. Here we go. So you get kind of that up and down. Oh, okay, maybe not in that speed. But it also goes back around the other direction. So this is going to be a little higher on the nausea ride side of things, especially because it goes backwards and also up and down. So you get that gyroscopic effect of around while also going around and then backwards. So this one's probably aimed more at your teenage set and some of your adults. I personally would recommend keeping trash cans and bathrooms nearby. This one is probably not much more tame. So this is definitely aimed at your teenagers. So yeah, you can see why right there. I don't know why you would use wood. You'd be mopping that wood quite a bit, because that's, oh, that is just pure vomit. So you've got up and down as well as the spinning element, and then the spinning element again on top of it. If you're into this type of ride, awesome, have at it. Yeah, not for me. But it is cool that these types of rides are in there. It has a lot of the same elements as like the Joker roller coaster has this kind of sort of twisting element like that. That's a kind of a, I don't know, like a T-wing type coaster. Just like the other one though, you're going to need to put some theming around it to make it exciting for your guests. Here's another one that is very much dependent on your theming. And as you can see up close, this has a pair of seats that can spin in place like this, and the people inside are able to see each other. There's an up and down element, and then there's this corkscrew element around here as well, and they're standing on the platform. So they're not free hanging as much. That should help with nausea, but as you can see, it's not quite alleviating it. So we're going to jump onto this one in a first-person camera, and this should spin up pretty quick. Time to go. We're waiting on a staff member here. I might not have hired enough staff members. What is the holdup? Nope, we got a staff member. I guess we're just waiting for more people. You can override this. You can tell it to launch after you have a certain amount of availability filled up. So it doesn't have to be 100%. So yeah, we're spinning and facing the center, but then you got that fly out, and then, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, so again, if you're into this kind of ride, I mean, I've never seen this kind of ride in person, but I can imagine that it'd be a huge hit at your thrill ride parks like a Six Flags or something like that. Again, no theming, but there's a lot of things you could probably do with this to make it seem like folks are going to maybe hit an element, like a theming element or something like that inside of a dome. Kind of the sky's the limit with these sort of things. So, pretty cool. So we should have enough folks to jump on to one of these now. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward until we see a boat come in to dock, which we're good now. Let's jump in to the camera and we'll get rolling here. All right, so I'm gonna go, here we go. We'll kind of go outside the ride a little bit so you can see one of the new tricks. Hey, what happened there? I'm not sure what happened there. All right, let's try that again. All right, everybody's kind of backed up here. What happened? Oh, it closed for some reason. All right, we'll put it in testing. That's fine. So lazy river kind of thing again, up the ramp. We'll go wing so you can see a little bit. Small splash here. Again, nothing really fast. Pretty normal for a splashdown kind of ride. Little splashdown here. Everybody gets wet. Internal ride, theming, theming, theming. You can see I've got this in 5X and it's still moving slow. This is where it gets interesting. So you come up into this belt, right? Up you go, carrying you into the air. I've never seen anything like this. Oh, see, now it kicked us out there. Once you get to the top here, you have this long splash down into a big pool here. Everybody gets really wet. Little tiny climb to slow things down to get your folks queued. You can see there's a long line here for people to unload and load. But yeah, this is the big moment, right? You go up this big elevator here, you stop for a moment, you come around here, and then down this splashdown ride. I've never seen anything like this in person. I imagine to be extraordinarily expensive to maintain this kind of infrastructure, but it's pretty cool. So that's all of the rides that are in this particular park ride pack. The expansion pack is $9.99. There's some argument as to whether that's a little high for the amount of rides that we've got here. I'm going to leave that to you to determine. I personally love adding new rides, but man, that feels a little steep for what's here. Still, being able to take some of these elements like this and being able to add it to other park rides that you've built yourself is pretty cool. But I leave it to you. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? $9.99 a fair price for the what is effectively what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rides, or would you like to see that come down a little bit? I do know this: we're coming up on the Steam sale, at least at the time of recording, so you might see these come down in price. Keep an eye out. There's a lot of coasters in the base game, so there's plenty to keep you busy. I do highly recommend that. You can check out our full review for the base game at gamingtrend.com. Again, thanks for joining us. It's been a minute. I'm Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Enjoy Planet Coaster 2. I know I am, and we'll see you again very soon.